Welcome to episode 2 of the Way2Cheap Podcast, a cheaply made podcast with two budget hosts. I'm one of your hosts, Noah, aka Cheap Beast.
And I'm the cheaper host, Hans, or Way2K.
Jeez, in your video right now, when you did that, it looked like someone was about to snipe you. I know no one else can see this, but I saw it and I had to point it out.
It wouldn't be Noah because he's one of the speed runners in COD. He doesn't do sniper rifles, so I can already say it's not Noah.
I used to back in the day.
Yeah, quick scoping wasn't for him. That was too much mechanical prowess for him.
Whoa. I was good at it back in MW2. Those were the days.
Well, we'll get to the gaming a little bit later on, but that will be the majority of, I think, the content for this episode. We'll mix in a little bit of some of our previous YouTube channels, which I'm sure will be a fun trip down memory lane. But yeah, I think that'll be kind of what we go over this time.
There we go.
Do you want to start out by kind of giving us a little update on what you've done on your channel recently and what your new subscriber count is?
Yeah, so since, was it last week we actually recorded? I don't remember anymore. Okay, because we messed up and we had it done for a week and that was another week. But since last time we recorded, whenever it was, I've gained 7 subscribers. We're at 346.
That's one a day.
That is one. Well, it's over a week. You already said that. Come on.
It's roughly one a day.
Yeah, but I think I've only uploaded one video, which is pretty sad for me. Definitely should be doing more. I think the last video I did before that was the March sneaker releases, and then I did episode 2 of learning how to customize sneakers. So hasn't been that great. I should probably upload a lot more. I have other videos that I probably could make. I'm just lazy.
I'm looking at one right behind you right now. I'll keep the secret filter on, but I do see one in your background that you could be working on.
We'll see. I would have had to make it. I feel like I should have made it for tomorrow, which is the 12th, but I'm not going to make it today because I'm lazy.
It could be next week.
It might be Monday's video. We'll see what else I have.
The March Madness opener.
That's true. That could be
the good tie-in.
It could be. That'd be a good one.
Anything else new?
Nope. I haven't really done anything. I mean, I do. No one watches this anyway, so I have another sneaker on the way. I did finally win on the sneakers. Didn't get the one I wanted, but got one of the ones that I tried for, so that was good. So that will be coming to the channel.
That's exciting. I like when people get sneak peeks on the podcast.
Yeah, it's just you, actually. You're the only one that gets sneak peeks on the podcast. But
well, you're going to have to start hyping this up on your channel more. I know that my next video, I will say, hey, just want to let everybody know we are having a podcast. And then when they come back in here and they'll listen to this, they'll know that this is where that idea spawned from.
I will hype it up. My previous video I recorded like 3 weeks ago, and I just didn't edit it yet because I wasn't feeling it yet, and I didn't want to go like back-to-back videos. So that's probably why I didn't. That's why I didn't hype it up. We didn't actually do the podcast yet.
That's true.
The video after, I will hype it up. So for episode 2, I probably have already announced it on my channel.
Right now, our first podcast just got released today, which is exciting. Congratulations to us. That's a big milestone. And it's sitting at a singular. Yeah, thank you for the claps. I wish our audience could be here for a live clap. But
our audience is there. We got one view, and the one view is me.
I was about to get to that. Our one view was us. Again, please don't demonetize YouTube. It's all in good fun.
I was quality controlling the video, all right? You uploaded it. I had to watch it on my channel.
I don't know how, with all this remote stuff, we're able to send a whole a gigabyte plus, I'm sure.
Yeah,
55-minute video.
Yeah, so I couldn't listen to it after you uploaded it, so I was like, well, I'll just watch it on my channel.
Exciting stuff.
So, yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it.
Well, in the world of Way2K, we are up 5 subscribers in roughly 8 or 9 days.
That's almost 25% right there.
That's not bad. Yeah, that is not bad at all. And I think 4 of the 5 are people that I don't know. So that is exciting too, because the more people I don't know, the more I feel like people are actually watching.
There you go. Until you see that it's the same 3 people that always comment on your videos, and you're like, well.
Or that awkward moment where the same 3 people that comment on your videos stop commenting on your videos for your
Whoa. I was one of them still.
Well, I meant like the same 3 people I didn't know.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, they'll come back. I had this one dude on my channel who, like, because I don't know if you have the YouTube Studio app on your phone.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, it would, like, say I had a subscriber, and then I would go to it, and I would either like lose it, like it would say I moved one, and like the next day I would lose one, and then like 2 days later the same person would subscribe again, and they did this for like a couple months, and they would like comment on my video. So I'm like, why don't you just say subscribe? But they didn't want
do
to
you
do
think
it,
that that's a YouTube algorithm thing, or like a behind the, I guess, back end thing for YouTube? Or
I don't know. I think the person just wanted to unsubscribe. No, because they clearly were like unsubscribing and subscribing again.
oh, so it's like one of those things where like you add someone as a friend on Facebook, unfriend them, and add them back because you really want to be friends with them on Facebook.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, that's a little bit of an outdated reference.
Well, yeah, but that's what it is, and you're just like, okay, that's fine, I guess. I don't know if they're still subscribed to this day, but
Well, speaking of which, did that ever happen to you?
someone unfriend me after I accepted their friend
No,
request.
no. Someone send you a friend request. You ignore it. They take the friend request away and then re-add you as a friend so that you get the new notification.
Not that I remember. I've been on Facebook way too long, so I don't really know.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've been on Facebook, but I do remember in high school that happening.
I don't remember that happening in high school. All I know is now that we're at Stir, like, well, Facebook's not really like important to our generation. Now it's all, for a little bit there, it was like LinkedIn. When you were looking for a job, it was all about just adding your people. You're like, oh yeah, we went to high school together. LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Like, I don't think there's very few people I added outside of like my high school, like that I knew from college, on LinkedIn.
Do you check LinkedIn regularly? Because I do
No.
not.
I don't even look at it. People who post on there, I'm like, good for you, but I don't ever looked at it.
Do you get spam friend requests from like financial people? Because that's something that happens to me.
No, I don't think I usually get them. I'll get like messages from someone that'll be like, I don't know. Like, I had someone, I feel like, looking at like a mortgage or something, and I'm like, what are you doing? Someone like messaged me back and forth for like a week, and I just didn't know where the conversation was going. So I was just kind of like, all right, I'm not going to respond anymore.
Interesting. I've not actually responded to a single person, so
Well, like, they were like legit, and like they weren't. I just kind of responded, and then they kept like talking and then giving like real answer, like good answer, and like good replies, and then I would just kind of try to match it because I was like, this is the best I can do. But
interesting.
it didn't seem like I was going anywhere. Yeah.
I started getting headhunters recently.
What's that?
People that started their own companies in like the tech field.
I think that's what I had. I had someone doing that. They started their own company, but they never like did anything. Like they just mentioned they had a company, but I'm like, okay, are you going to ask me if I want to like interview or anything like this? You're just like messaging me, telling me how you started your own company. Like, cool.
Well, we could consider our own or ourselves as starting our own company, a very small, unprofitable, and only a time sink company of YouTube.
There we go.
In the podcast. So
let's start messaging people on LinkedIn and be like, hey, you want to, like, just people that have like podcaster, producer experience, just messaging them and be like, hey, we started up this own company. You want to join?
Well, we could do it for collaborations. I guarantee you, I'm sure this is okay saying where we're from, but I guess you could listen to it on iHeartRadio too. But if we went to like Dave and Jimmy and be like, hey guys, we're looking for people to come on to our podcast.
I'm sure
some like real radio talent. Would you come on to our podcast? They'd say yes.
I'm sure,
right
100%.
I'm sure they've never been
sure.
offered any like crazy things like that before.
Well, they get paid to do those kind of things nowadays.
Well, I'm more so saying that like no one's ever asked them to do something crazy.
No, never.
Or like, I guess, out of their way, not necessarily crazy.
Hey, you never know. I don't see it happening. It'd be weird to just like bring someone on a podcast that has no idea about us. That'd be difficult to
Okay,
do.
so maybe we set as a goal. Maybe our goal is one of these days we get someone who is semi-famous or at least locally famous on the podcast.
Locally famous. Urban Meyer. What's up, Urban?
I think that he's more than locally famous at this point.
He's only the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And, yeah. I guess that is do you
Fine,
think it's his
we'll
most
get, like-
notable accomplishment?
What, being an NFL head
Yeah,
coach? No, I mean,
is
it
that
depends
better
on
than
where you're
Ohio State?
from. I mean, it depends on where you're from. If you're from Florida, he's a Florida head coach.
Right.
If you're from Ohio, he's an Ohio
I mean,
State
Jacksonville
head
is
coach.
also in Florida.
Now, if you're from Florida, you're definitely thinking how he was the Florida Gators head coach, not Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe now you think about him being there,
Yeah,
but
I
like
guess.
back in the day, you weren't like, or like probably until you got that job, you definitely didn't think about him.
Have that job when he was coaching.
Okay, well, still today, on his head coaching things, it probably goes, at least in my opinion, Ohio State, Florida, Jacksonville, and then Utah is where you would think about him.
Did he ever coach for Bowling Green?
He did.
Okay, because I knew he graduated from there. Actually, fun fact, he graduated in the same class as my mom from high school.
Oh, yeah?
Sorry, that's a mistake.
From high school?
He was a senior. I think it was actually... No, maybe it was college. I can't remember if it was high school or college at this point. Let's just go with college. He was a senior. She was a freshman at Bowling Green.
Nice. Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I'll actually get corrected by it later, but...
Hey, there's some people that were on the football team at Ohio State when I was graduating that graduated at the same time.
That's fair enough. That's why I'm thinking it was high school. I think I was mistaken. I don't think it was Bowling Green. I think it was high school. I
feel like it would be high school
that they went together.
I don't think anyone's like, oh yeah, we went to college together.
I mean,
other than if like I know you, like I can't be like, oh yeah, Zeke and I were at Ohio State at the same time.
It was definitely high school. He was definitely a senior in high school. My mom was a freshman because she had a yearbook of it, and they don't give yearbooks for college, so it would have had to been high school.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the same room as everyone on Ohio State. So,
are you talking about the shoe?
Multiple times.
Is that considered a room?
No. Like where I used to work.
Oh yeah. You probably can't say that though. You don't want to give away.
No,
too
I
much.
wasn't going to. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I don't work there anymore. So.
Fair enough.
But, yeah, I would have multiple team dinners there, like once a year, and I was in the room with all of them. The scariest moment of my life. I think we talked about this last podcast. I'm 6'2", and when you're in a room of D1 football players and you're really small,
taller than 6'2" usually.
Yeah, well, I mean, even the guys that are like 5'10", like the cornerbacks and stuff, they're still like jacked, and you're like, man, I'm small. And then there's like the guys that are like 6'9", and you're like, how can I help you, sir? And you're older than them. So, it's crazy.
Good point. Well,
we're very off topic.
Hopping back on the rails, let's go back to YouTube, and I kind of want to ask you what your previous channels were like. 'Cause if you had more than one channel, let's start with that.
I mean, technically, okay. If you're not counting my current one, okay. Technically, I've had at least one. There's been others because my main channel, I'm not going to say the name because I don't want people to go back and look for it. It's not hard to find.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, do we drop or name drop our old channels here, or do we wait until a later date?
It's out there. If someone finds it, it's not going to be hard.
Okay.
I've literally I'm pretty sure it's like tagged and stuff on my channel, so it doesn't matter.
Got it.
But I did a lot of gaming stuff on there, like Call of Duty mostly. But then, so I had that. Then I back in, I don't know, when we were in high school, so 2010, 2014, community channels were pretty big. So you would have yourself and then a bunch of other people also posting, they would send you your gameplay and you basically just post from them.
I actually forgot about that phase.
Yeah. So I had one of those. I made one of those for a bit because I was part of other people's.
Right.
And then I was like, I should make my own, and it never really went anywhere because no one really wanted to send me stuff and it just wasn't good. And that was towards the end of my gaming YouTube career.
Is that back in the day when Machinima was a thing? Or was Machinima considered a community channel?
No, I mean, they were a partner channel.
Okay.
They had actually, they paid people, but it was more hey, you're a small YouTuber, you want to be on our channel, so you basically just gain more exposure.
Right.
I was on a couple of those. There's one that was also it was kind of like Machinima, but it was a lot smaller. It's called Yoush, I think. And they had a channel, and you could send your stuff and hope to get on there. Obviously, mine was nothing like that. I got up to 20 subscribers before I stopped. I only got 5 videos on it. But it was basically hey, you want to have your video on here for free, basically, and hopefully both of us grow together because people can see your content on this channel, and they were directors, so they would have either a video a week, a video a month, or something like that, and you just basically had a bunch of people's content all in one.
Whatever happened to Machinima?
I think there was
either one.
Well, the community channels probably just died because everyone figured they could do it on their own, and it wasn't I mean, there's probably still stuff out there like it, but people will just rip content from other people now. It's not. I think people probably also more protective about their channels. They don't want their content just out there for other people to make money on potentially. I think Machinima had some legal problems.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't remember exactly, but I know there's a lot of people. I think a lot of people left because either legal problems or like they just didn't like the company anymore. So they just left and did their own thing because they were already way too big for that channel.
Yeah, that was the thing that always confused me when I was like growing up and watching those kind of things. Like all the creators by themselves probably could have been bigger than Machinima, but they kind of got held back by Machinima almost.
Yeah, I think that's why they left, because they didn't like their contracts anymore. Oh, there was, so I was thinking, oh my gosh, I forgot one by my actual channel. Like, not my actual
You
channel.
had a third channel?
No, so I had a tiny community channel. This was
Okay.
like towards the end when I was doing it. But when I was like into it, which I'm pretty sure was like freshman year, sophomore year of high school.
What year is that?
When I was like
approximately?
really, like 2010, 2011, I think. When I was like really into YouTube and stuff. I had a channel. It was called Only the Great Gaming. I made it with one of my friends at the time, and like two of my friends, and we got it all the way up to like 1,500 subscribers or something
Wait, that's
like that.
actually pretty
And then,
impressive.
yeah, and it was like a community channel kind of, but like it was mostly ran by us, and we found a few other people to put content on there. So it was like mostly us. We got it to like at least 1,500, and it was like growing pretty well. And then I think we kind of stopped, or like one of the guys started taking over a little bit more, and then he like wouldn't give us the password. It got really weird, but also we were like teenagers, so like no one has a real say. But he like changed the password or something. We couldn't get back into it, and I don't remember. Like, I think eventually we got it back, but at that point it was like dead.
What kind of gameplay videos were it?
Anything we were doing. I mean, obviously this was like peak Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare 2 and that kind of stuff. So like Call of Duty was the big one.
Yeah.
But there was one dude who did FIFA on there, and let me find his channel real quick. But I'm pretty sure at this point, there's another dude I was friends with too, because I would always like collaborate with people. He got up to like 100,000 or something like that. But
dang, that's
I think
pretty
he got,
impressive, especially for back in the day.
Well, I think it was after too. They're both British guys that like did all right. I think they just found their thing, but he did it kind of sketchily. There's like ways you can fake your subscribers and fake your views and stuff like that.
True.
And he got really big off that. Let me find this dude that we found.
The one thing I will say, though, is that 100,000 subscribers back then was probably the equivalent of, like, 1 million or, like, maybe 3 million. Like,
yeah,
today.
probably. I think he was more towards the layer. Like, he slowly got to that 100. It wasn't like he had 100K at that moment. He had, like, 100K a little bit later. But no, this one dude, I'm pretty sure he was on this channel. I don't know how involved I was at this point, but... one of the directors on our channel, he does FIFA stuff now. He's 2.42 million subscribers.
The same guy.
The same guy, I'm pretty confident. So like he just found his like thing in FIFA, and he's been going with it since then. Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I don't know. I think it was one of the other guys. We had so it was me. No, it was one of the guys that like was working on the channel with us. It was me, this dude from Pennsylvania, and then a dude from England. I think we were like the three like main people on the channel, but we would have like other people there that we had all the time. But I think he found this dude because we had like, obviously we had 1,500 subscribers, so like we weren't small.
No,
like
definitely
1,500
not.
back then.
No,
1,500 back then is like a big deal. Yeah. So
did they have play buttons back then? I don't think they did.
No, I mean they might have eventually.
That was something when Google took over, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
Which I'm not sure what year that acquisition was.
I have no idea, but I think he found one of the guys, or like they applied to be on our channel, or he like found him and said, "Hey, do you want to be on our channel?" And then now he's got like 2.4 million subscribers.
Well, good for him.
So, yeah, that's all us. I wonder what happened to those guys.
Well, I have similar stories, not quite 2.4 mil. Actually, I'd have to look. But my newest of my old channels, which I'm not going to name drop yet because I still have to change the name back. But I did similar to what I did now. I did Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 videos, which were horrendous, and then I have some really old Minecraft videos that were even worse. Occasionally, basically just gameplay of video games, which I was never that great at, and the commentary was even worse. Thankfully, even though my commentary is not like amazing now, it's significantly better than what it was back then. And then, more interestingly, I guess the best video on that channel was a time lapse of Minecraft. So time lapses haven't changed much. I think I got like 1,400 views, so like nothing insane. And then maybe 100 subscribers. I mean that's maybe. But the channel before that that actually had, I think, 200 or 400 subscribers before like YouTube did the great purge of subscribers for the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I remember that one.
that one was a Lego channel, and that was when I was in 5th or 6th grade, I believe. And I made videos about my Lego army and Lego customs and stuff. And
There you go.
I did a couple stop motion animations, and actually I had maybe 2 or 3 that were like a lot longer than anything published on that channel that just never got published, which is kind of sad. But my top video in that channel got 50,000 views, or like 46,000 views for like no reason.
Dang.
And then where I was tying this into your kind of story was that two of the people grew. Well, I guess there was like 3 people that I was like fairly good friends with back in the day. That would like post around the same time as me, and we would all comment. Because back in the day, you could actually see who was subscribed to who. It would actually show you, if you like clicked on someone's channel, like who they were all subscribed to. And we were all subscribed to each other, and we'd have like messages. Because you could actually DM people on YouTube back in the day too. That was another feature they don't have anymore. And 2 of the guys have stopped since then, but they both got to like 1 million or 2 million subscribers. And then the third guy is still going, who's now known as Solid Brick Studios. I doubt that he would remember me now. It's just since it's been like 10 years or maybe longer. But yeah, so definitely some successful people that if I would have kept with it, would have
for
made it
sure.
big.
Yeah, I was just looking back at the one channel I was just talking about, the one that got up to 1,500. Dude, the quality sucks, but also like some of these videos are like 10 years ago.
Oh, so it's still up. That was actually going to be my other question.
Yeah, it's still up. This one's still up. I never took this one. I didn't take any of my channels down because I didn't really care. But like, we had a dual commentary video where both of our gameplays was on the channel. I think some of the videos got removed because I feel like we definitely had a lot more. But we have a video on here that got 238,000 views.
Are you going to name drop this channel?
Only the Great Gaming. I think I already said that.
Oh, Only the Great Gaming. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But yeah, there's stuff from like 10 years ago. And we did that. We got 1,500 subscribers.
Are we going to get that kind of views on this podcast? That is my question.
I mean, that'd be nice if we ever got 1,500 subscribers. Like, I would take that. There's one podcast that I watch on YouTube. I don't know what they get like on Spotify and stuff like that, but like, it's got over 1.5 million. One has 1.5 million. The other one has 3 million subscribers. And their podcast, I don't think they don't advertise it anyways.
Right.
But it only's got like 2,000 subscribers, so it's not like, I mean, I imagine if they advertised it a little bit more, they'd probably get a little bit more subscribers. But
well, that's another challenging thing too. I think a lot of people struggle with converting viewership to subscribers.
Yeah, that's why like you'll see a lot of people, even like you'll be big on YouTube and then you'll go to Twitch and get like 1,000 viewers, but you have like 5 million subscribers, and you're just like, people just don't want to watch that, or like they do, but you just don't get nearly the same as like people who only do Twitch and like kind of do YouTube. Like, I feel like going from like Twitch to YouTube is much easier than going from YouTube to Twitch.
Well, the other thing too, right, is YouTube is a total view count, whereas Twitch is concurrent. I'm sure that some of the people on Twitch probably get like decent not concurrent, but total viewership, but you'll never be able to see that stat really. You
can see it now.
Do they have
if you go to the past broadcast, it says how many views were in it. So like, you'll see someone that like is getting like 30,000 like all day, their whole stream, and you'll see it's like 240,000 views.
I always thought
like
it was how many people viewed it after like the I don't think
so. I don't think so, because I don't think like 240,000 people would watch a past broadcast.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think it's the live views count as like a view.
I don't know how people's like taste work when it comes to like rewatching Twitch content.
I'll do it occasionally if I was like already watching it. Like, I'll come back to watch it, or like I just need something beyond, and a past broadcast on the stream is like 8 hours, and usually it's like you can just leave it on and you don't have to worry about material. Yeah, but I feel like most people, I mean, including me, don't go backwards and like go, oh, let me watch this person's past broadcast from like 2 days ago.
Yeah, the real hard part about Twitch is like you have to be invested for like a fairly large period of time, I feel like, or else your attention span's gone. I mean, YouTube, most videos are pretty cut down, condensed, right? So like it holds your attention span for that entire 10, maybe 20-minute video. Whereas with like Twitch, I feel like most people, if you lose their attention span in like 3 minutes, they're out.
especially like, well, because YouTube you can obviously like pause stuff, so you can pause it, do
True.
something, come back, and whatever. If you watching a stream like something, let's just say something like intense is happening, you can't pause it and come back to the same point. You either have to go to the past broadcast or you just keep watching, which I feel like is a problem. Like if you're not, like everyone already knows, Twitch is basically you're really good at the game or you're funny, and that's
Right.
basically like how you get like it back in for the gaming part of Twitch. It's either you're really good at the game or you're like funny or have like a good personality. Yeah, and like that's how you'll be more successful than someone who's just like pretty good at the game and like kind of funny or something like that.
Yeah, the other thing that's tough is that it's just like YouTube, right? The market's so saturated. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder the statistic. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I guarantee if I probably Googled it, I could find it. But how many people stream to know, or one viewer, that one viewer being themselves?
Oh, it's like
Probably a lot.
it's got to be at least like 75% of Twitch is like zero. Probably maybe more like 90.
But I also
This
wonder,
is like 0 to nothing.
on the flip side, how many people on YouTube have videos with no views or one view being themselves? I mean, I wonder if you compare the two, which one has more.
It's probably,
creators?
I would imagine it's probably around like a pretty good ratio of the same, like 90% of videos, either not 90%. YouTube, I feel like it's pretty easy to get like a view, like just someone randomly strolls onto your video.
Right.
But like, it's pretty hard. Like, say if you are in the League of Legends category for streaming, it's pretty hard for someone to like. I know I never do it. I never go all the way down to the bottom and see who's at 0.
That's true.
Just because I'm like, either let me watch someone I've already watched before or let me watch someone at the top just because they're there for a reason. Like, people obviously like them.
I definitely take view counts into account if I want to click on something. And I feel kind of bad about that. But, like, subconsciously, I feel like the more views, people tend to view as more trustworthy.
It does, I mean, for sure. I mean, you can watch, I do this with tech channels before. Like, I buy something, say their review has 1 million views, and there's another review with, like, 200,000. I'm going to be like, oh, the person with 1 million views is probably more trustworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be like, they probably know what they're talking about. Let me trust their opinion. Where like the person with 200,000 could like completely tell you everything, but you're just like, the person with 1 million probably more trustworthy. People like them.
So I have a question that's kind of based off that whole, you see a video, you click on it. Do you know offhand what your average click-through rate is?
Let me open up the app real quick. It's low.
Because mine is an average of like 9.08%.
Really?
So I guess, if you do the math on that, right, you multiply by 10, whatever viewer count I'm getting. So my videos are on average being shown to 300 people, and 30 people are clicking on them ish, maybe 28.
My impressions through click rate is 6.8%.
So I wonder if that depends on category, or if it also is like how many people it's showing it to, right? Because if you show it to more people, I feel like over time your click-through rate's going to go down.
Yeah, do you know what your impressions are, though?
I'd actually have to look.
Because my impressions are 33,852. So I would take
average?
8%. No, that's the past 28 days.
Okay.
Is that many impressions? I get like 1,000 a day, basically.
That's actually
So
not
like
bad.
6.8% is not terrible.
No.
I mean, I'd take that. There's a few days of like 9%. It's been kind of low right now because obviously I'm not posting much. But yeah, like YouTube's like app is pretty, like just their analytics they can get into is pretty nuts. Like there's people that obviously take advantage of analytics way more than I ever would. I don't really look at them. But you can like see your average age and like top geographics, all that kind of stuff.
There's so many stats that Google offers you, like as a YouTube creator, that you can really use it to your advantage to like grow your channel. Like if you have the time and you have the care and like the plan to develop, you can use those stats really.
Well, there's like even more stuff that you can add on to it. I tried to, and it's just confusing. Where you like can see basically what's like the top search things and like all that kind of stuff. Like right now,
oh really?
I mean, you can find basically the stuff that would try to get your views out more, but I mean it's not guaranteed. You still have to put in the effort.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean that's like YouTube right there. As long as you put in effort, if you put more effort in, you're gonna have a better shot than if you just kind of like
quality over quantity is definitely the way to go.
I think so, but it depends on what you're in.
Yeah, it definitely category depends on. I think that
because like if
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Jinx.
All right, I'll finish. If like say for example, like gaming. If you do like daily gaming video, I feel like it's much better than if you're like MySpace where it's like daily sneaker video. Like unless you're reviewing sneakers, you don't really need to do a daily video because like first off, you need 365
Different
sneakers to
pairs,
review
right.
a year, and it would just that's a ton. So you'd either have to have someone that's got access to like a sneaker store and you could just like borrow it and say, all right, let me review it and then give it back, which I know a lot of, like some people do, but other people just straight up buy them.
Right.
So, but like for gaming, you can post a video like every day if you want to, depending on the game. Like if it's a multiplayer game, you can easily do it.
Did we talk about YouTube Shorts last week?
YouTube Shorts.
I don't believe
think
so. But that's something that's definitely quantity over quality. So for those that don't know what YouTube Shorts are, I'll give a quick rundown real quick. I think it's the Spiffy Brit, or I think that's the name of his channel. He actually just did a video explaining how they're broken and how people can abuse YouTube. So for his story, he took 7 years to get his channel to 1 million subscribers, and someone else in the course of a month, or maybe it was 2 months, well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, it was 2 months, got 1 million subscribers by only doing YouTube Shorts. And so what they do is they do little animations, generally between 15 and 30 seconds. You never want it to be over a minute. So I think 30 seconds is like the goal time. And animations of different like games are like popular right now. And you do it in vertical mode like a phone. So basically, essentially what it's doing is it's like taking TikTok and putting it on YouTube. And why it's so broken is because YouTube's algorithm actually sorts shorts in a different algorithm than normal videos. And since there's like there's less number of people producing shorts, there's significantly more view power going to each creator that makes them. And they also get their own little like section bar on YouTube. So if you go to find a short video and you see other videos related to it, they'll all be shorts. And so you have a higher chance of being noticed. And people, I think YouTube has their own algorithm to actually create like an automatic. I don't think you can actually choose your what do you call it, thumbnail. Yeah, with shorts you cannot choose your thumbnail. It's automatically chosen for you by YouTube, but they have an algorithm to like find the best thing. So if you like change your video in a way that has like a really interesting thing during most frames, you'll have like a really cool thumbnail that will get people to click on it, and it gets like millions of views.
That's crazy. I didn't know about this, but also that just seems like effort that I don't throw into things.
Well, it seems less effort than a normal video, though.
I mean, yeah, but you have to pump those out like all the time.
It is daily. So what he was saying is that if you don't post daily, you won't get the consistent like rate of return as if you were to post daily with those.
Yeah, I feel like that used to be. I mean, it's probably true for like that shorts thing, but I feel like that used to be true for like actual channels too. If you're posting daily, I feel like YouTube was gonna push you harder than people who weren't posting daily. But I feel like that's changed now because it used to be everyone's content. So it used to be like 10 minutes, and then now I'm pretty sure like the bigger YouTubers like shoot for like the 4-minute like quick videos, or at least they were for a bit. But I think they might have stopped that too.
Most of the people that I watch are in like the 25 to 30 minute range now, which is so crazy because I grew up with like that whole 10-minute spiel was like,
oh yeah, I mean, if you got, well, I know for a bit 10 minutes were like that means you got like a certain amount of ads as
right.
You hit 10 minutes, so people would stretch it out. But like back in the day, it definitely was like 10 minutes, and like if you hit 10 minutes, like you were like that was a good video length,
right.
But you didn't want to go like 20 because then you're just kind of like making way too long of a video.
Exactly.
But if you went like 5, it was like way too short of a video.
I would definitely say that I like longer videos now. I mean, it definitely depends on the content, but
yeah,
most of the videos that I watch, so Stuff Made Here, Mark Rober, which are both engineers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's obviously the quality of the video.
True.
Like if like Mark Rober or whatever posts like one video a month or whatever, so you know his video is gonna be like really good quality.
Yeah.
So you can't just like be like, oh, okay, like if his video is like 5 minutes, you'll be like, well, that's a short video. So like you expect his videos to be long because they're like really good quality and he like tells a whole story in theirs. But like people who post like weekly, I don't know. I mean, like I don't mind really long videos, but like also like half the time I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this long of a video because it's like like a time commitment almost.
That's fair enough, and I think that might be one of the problems with my channels. But
I mean, you're going for that. I mean, if you keep that up, I feel like people come to expect that, and like you're gonna watch the whole video, because it's not one of those things where you're just kind of like watch it, like especially like some of the stuff I do with like mystery boxes or
Right.
sneaker unboxings. If I don't put in like the title or something, like clickbait it, obviously you watch to the point of the clickbait, and then you're like, all right, that was it, I'm done.
True.
I don't care about the rest of it. So
I still
I think that's
there's people that would click on the final version if like, they can see that there's like a final version of the park. They'll take a look at that.
yeah.
That
that's always gonna happen.
True.
There's always gonna be people trying to skip to the end of the video just to like the thing you're advertising.
Yeah.
You're like, if they're into like park tech videos, and they're like, all right, I'm just gonna watch what the park looks like at the end. So
Well, we've talked about our YouTube channels, so let's kind of switch gears here a little bit and finish up the podcast with talking about our game experience. And no, I will not forget about our question of the week. That will come. But
that's obviously at the end.
we've had some YouTube experience, but we've also had some gaming, at least competitive gaming experience. I think a lot of people have had gaming experience. I think that's a pretty generalized thing. But what games have you played competitively? I know that you've played a lot on YouTube. Have you played any of those competitively?
So I most of my competitive career, it never really took off, but that's a whole nother thing, is
Almost.
Call of Duty. I mean, I guess, but it could have been a lot better when I was really into it. So like obviously when I was doing YouTube, when I was talking about before, like high school, like 8th grade high school, and then like a very early college, at least the YouTube was like high school, but I would play Call of Duty a ton. I had like 30 days on MW2 and that was like before you're playing like wars and stuff. Like that's 30 days in game in like 1 year.
Yeah.
And I had and also that game, I think I didn't have it for like 2 or 3 months. So like there was like time where I didn't play it and I still had a ton of hours. But I played a lot of Call of Duty. I first got into I know you know about Call of Duty a little bit, but for most of like at least early Call of Duty, not now, you learned about it, and then you got into like game battles. Game battles are like where you can play other people competitively in like an organized fashion, like
good old
each
days.
match, and yeah. So I was playing MW2, and some random dude like messaged me and was like, hey, you want to join our clan, basically, because I was like destroying everyone in TDM. Like this is back when people would actually message you and be like, hey, you're good, you want to join us? This is when I was like 13 or like something like that.
What was the clan
So I joined
tag?
these dudes. It was Renegade Faction is the team name, so it was RF. They weren't any good. Like I was by far their best player, but I would play GBs with them, like not even the competitive ones. I would play like the TDM game battles. So like literally it could be like 10-10 to end the game because people just wait around. So I did that, and then I got one of my friends into Call of Duty at the next game, which was Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 1. He got really into competitive, so then we started watching like the competitive scene, and I like got more into it. And I found like another clan or like community that I found people, but I think that actually came a little bit later. But he got really big into it. He went like hard in everything. Like if he put his mind to it, he was just going at
Right.
it. So he joined like a team that played Envious, who like is still a team now, and they're like a big deal. But we would go see MLG events, but we were never like that great. And during this whole time, when I was in high school, my internet, if someone else got on the internet, it would kick me off. So I never could like do anything with it, and I would just get kicked off all the time. So I was playing at like 2 a.m. like constantly.
What would you say your
because that was the only time.
internet speed was?
It was like, so it was, I think it was 3 megabytes down, which is
Pretty
terrible. Yeah, and it was like on a terrible modem, like AT&T's awful, and then we
Dial-up?
upgraded to then we got to upgrade to 8, and that was the max we could get in their area. And this was still like, this was only like maybe like 8 years ago, 6
Right.
years ago, so like it's still terrible. Like it's not like it's fast.
No.
Like people were easily getting 50. So that probably hurt me a lot. And then Black Ops 2 obviously is like, if you played Call of Duties from like MW2 on, if you got into competitive, Black Ops 2 was like the game,
It was.
because they actually had like a league play, like the first like good league play, and everyone like talks about it, like this is the greatest Call of Duty ever
Probably the
for
best league play, too.
competitive. Yeah, I mean, at least it was the most fun. And I know other people like the ELO system of some of the newer ones, but no one plays it nearly as much, and they're just not as fun.
How does the ELO system work? I don't think I've ever actually played with it.
So like you'll get like a number basically, and you'll go up and down, and the number is how the ELO system of that, like some of the older ones work, and I like those because then you have like a number attached to your name, and you know where you are in the rankings. But I always like just the hey, I got into Masters.
We did
but
have MMR, I think, in Black Ops 2, though. Or maybe it was called ELO as well.
I mean, it was like a hidden MMR.
I mean,
you had a number, like a leaderboard thing, but you were still just like Masters. Like everyone was Masters. For the ELO one, it was like, I don't know the exact numbers, but like 5,000 was like the top. So like everyone in the 5,000s was really good, but like then there's like 3,000s that was like silver.
Gotcha.
But you could be like silver and like have like 5,000 points. You just lost a ton too. Like you weren't good in Black Ops 2.
Right.
Like you had a number of just like score basically.
I forgot
it didn't
that the
really
tiers
mean
reset
much.
when you or the numbers reset when you hit each tier.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's like League. As soon as you got to 100, you like move up.
Right.
But yeah, so then there's that. Black Ops 2, I got into a ton, was on multiple teams. And then I finally got good internet freshman year of college, and I went to an MLG event. Only an MLG event I attended.
Was that in the fall?
No, I think it was like end of winter, so probably like close to spring.
So probably right before we started being friends.
Yeah. Well, it might, yeah, it was around then. But I had like, I was playing on a team. We were really good. We were actually like top 16 on game battles, and we were in the playoffs for game battles, and the one dude disbanded the team, which was the stupidest thing ever because we were in the playoffs and we could play, and we beat a top 16 like pro team at the time. But then none of them could come to the tournament, so I was just like posting on Twitter or something that I like had a ticket and I was gonna go, and then I found 3 random guys, and then I was like, I mean, I scrimmed with them. They were terrible,
Right.
And I basically was like, hey, I'm going to sell my ticket or like sell the pass because I'm like, we're not going to win. Like, we're do whatever. And then they were all like, no, well, let's keep it. Like, let's just go and play. Like, they were all local to Columbus.
Yeah.
And we got like, we scrimmed. We like never beat anyone. We would scrim there, like on land. I think we won one scrim, like one match against some other terrible team. And then in the bracket play, we played, I think it was because it was based on pro points, and I was like the only one with pro points on my team, and I had a decent amount, so it got us like not last place, but we were near the bottom. I think we played like the number 1 game battles team in like the first round. They destroyed us,
So
and then in the
seeded
losers
low.
round, yeah, we were well, they weren't even seed that high.
Hmm.
They didn't have a ton of pro points either. So we got destroyed by them. And then in the next one, we played a team that I think ended up making it to like the pro bracket, like a couple tournaments later.
So was that double elimination then, or how'd you get to play?
Yeah, you went to a losers
Okay.
bracket. Yeah, and then we played them, and I was like, this is stupid. Like, they were called Onslaught, that's who they were. And either they just got rid of their like team because the team left them because they were actually really good, but then they had another really good team, and just like, this is stupid. Why do I have to deal with that? So then that was basically my last like real competitive experience in Call of Duty. Like, I played game battles like afterwards, but it was never anything serious again.
I signed up for game battles, but I don't think that I ever played a game. Or maybe if I did, I played 1 or 2.
I loved it. It was so, I mean, like, I used to hate it because it didn't mean anything, and
That's
then
why I
once
didn't play it.
once it started, yeah, like, I was like, this is stupid. I'd rather scrim, so I would just like tell my team back in, I think like Ghost is when I really hated game battles. I was like, let's just scrim, like we can play tournaments and after scrimming.
Right.
But why would we go to game battles? Because it's useless. And then they made it worth pro points, and then I was like, okay, I'll play it again because it's like actually for something. And then I didn't care like later because I wasn't trying to go pro ever again. So it's just like, let me just play for fun and compete against people.
Do you think they'll ever go back to their roots of like the old style of games, like the
No.
maps and gunplay?
No, they cater to the normal people or like casual people and where they can make their most money. And like Warzone's way bigger than the multiplayer game
That's
is.
true.
But in the newest game, there's skill-based matchmaking in like pubs. So everyone, like, I quit because you have to like try so
Right.
hard. Like, you're playing against dudes who are like also competitive players, and you're like, why do I have to play against these in the public
no
match
fun.
where all I did was just like casually kill people? Like, that sounds terrible out of context.
We don't want anybody to tune in right before that line.
Yeah,
All he wants to do is casually decapitate.
casually
sniper rifle.
have a good KDA and not try that hard.
in a virtual game.
Yes.
Obviously.
Call of Duty.
But so you're pretty decent.
That's my competitive. Yeah, I mean, I would consider myself pretty good at Call of Duty. Like, I still could play it and be good, but I feel like if I would have had good internet in high school, I could have actually, like, at least gone to more events and had a real team.
If the occasion arose, Call of Duty or not, would you ever try to go competitive, or do you think that era of your life is over?
That's long gone. I could play with people, play some tournaments, but never try to go pro like I was trying to do back in the day. It's long gone now.
It's sad to think about.
End of an era. It is. You were like, especially because I know like I wasn't going to be, I don't know if I was ever going to be like a top pro, but I definitely felt like I could have competed at a higher level if I was playing against people at that point. But my internet wouldn't allow me. Like, I literally would get kicked off during scrims, and it was just like, all right, that's the end of the scrim, and I would get so mad, and I'd just be done. Like, that was when I was, like, dedicated to playing.
I didn't have too many, scrims or matches that I got that upset about.
Well, mine wasn't even getting mad about the actual match. I was getting mad because I was getting kicked off by my internet.
Okay, that's fair enough. Lag may be the most frustrating thing as a gamer. And if you've never experienced lag, or if you were not a gamer, well, I'm not sure why you listened to the last 10 minutes of the podcast, but lag is the worst thing.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's like stepping on Legos.
I wish it was just lag, too. It was my internet dropped, like, gone. And that's why now I literally pay for the best internet no matter what. Because I'm like, I'm never having this happen again.
Trauma, the first world trauma.
Yeah, my internet's down for like a couple minutes. I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever. I pay so much money for this. Why is it down?
That's a topic for a later date that I won't dig myself into. But I guess I will try to match that competitive experience. I'm not sure if I have that much, but
I was just real big into competitive scene. That was like my life for multiple years. I still watch it a ton. Like, that's all I do. But
I mean, I'd say that we're both really competitive people.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe not as competitive as someone else in our friend group, but very competitive people.
Yep. All right, go with your competitive experience. I'll stop cutting you off now.
All right, so my first competitive experience is not Call of Duty, but we'll get to that in a second. I don't know if anybody's actually heard of the games, but Star Wars Empire at War and Forces of Corruption. The Forces of Corruption was an expansion pack. I'm sure if everybody's heard of Star Wars, probably no one's heard of the game. It was an RTS, a real-time strategy game, very similar to StarCraft. I would assume it came out after StarCraft 1. I forget the date that StarCraft 1 was released.
StarCraft 1's really
old. That's a really old game. So I would imagine that it was like made to be like that. And no one really ever. They had the ground battles and then space battles. No one ever played the ground battles. Only ever played space. But it had a competitive scene, like a very small competitive scene, and I got fairly decent at it. And I joined a clan, and I switched clans, and there was all this inter-clan drama all the time. And people play competitive, and they had a ladder with like how the clans did, and then the individual people in the clan. And I ended up being one of like the top 2 people in my clan, and that was like the top 4 out of all the other clans. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. Really random game. I stopped playing it for 2 years, and I came back, and there was no lobbies anymore.
Nice. That's video games for you.
Like, there was no one to be found. I wanted to find all my friends that I played that with, but we didn't have voice chat back then, or at least we didn't use voice chat back then. We only used text chat, so different time.
I miss clan days. Clan days were the best. I miss just having a group of random people I had no idea about and playing video games with them.
Especially when you only text chatted, so you didn't even know what their voice sounded like. It was just like you associated this voice in your head with who you thought they were.
See, I had at least like Xbox parties.
Oh, well. I did PC gaming a lot, and I didn't have any of that.
I wasn't big in PC, but keep going.
But then I got into the competitive Call of Duty scene, so I was not allowed to play M-Raid video games until I was 13. I wasn't allowed to play Teen Raid video games until I was 13. That's a fun fact. And then at 13, the floodgates opened up, and M-Raid video games became okay too.
Oh, I'm gonna pause you real quick about something. My mom tried to enforce me because I was really addicted to MW2, and my mom was like, "No playing rated M games," because like every Call of Duty,
yep.
Call of Duty 2 was a teen game, so I would play that, and I was like, I'm gonna keep playing Call of Duty because it's a teen game. You can't stop me. I'm 13. But all right, keep going. That was all I had to say.
Also a team game?
I never had it. I only had Call of Duty 2, and I would play that campaign a ton.
I would play those at my friend's house because they had an Xbox, and that was before that I was allowed to play M games, and it was before I had PlayStation 3. So I got my PlayStation 3 in 8th grade, so a little bit late to the party. I was a Nintendo kid growing up, but that was when I picked up Modern Warfare 2. I really enjoyed it, but I was really, really bad at it at first because I had just never played a first-person shooter. And not PC, nothing. I'd always done top-down games. And first-person shooters were a ton of fun. Loved Modern Warfare 2, but was bad at it. I got better at Black Ops 1. I got a little bit better. Was Modern Warfare 3 before Black Ops 2? I think so.
Yeah. Modern Warfare 3 came after Black Ops 1. And
Infected was good on that game.
See, I used to grind. They came out like halfway into the game. They came out the 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 playlist. And my friend and I, who were big into competitive in Black Ops 1, would grind the 2v2 playlist. Like, we were so good. We like went like 50-0. Like, we would like daily goal it to like not lose, and we would lose maybe like once.
Yeah. But I was playing all of those games with a television. Well, what you learn is playing on a TV is not the way to play Call of Duty. And so I got my nice monitor that's now sitting on the ground, not plugged in. But I think it's 24-inch. It was a Dell monitor.
Mine's still being used, but I didn't even use mine till like maybe it was Black Ops 1. I think I switched over.
Right. And it was the first time I'd ever used an HDMI cable. I had only been using is it VGA? What's red, white, and blue? Or red, white, and yellow?
Yeah, VGA.
RCA?
No. RCA. That's
RCA.
what it is.
Yeah. Sorry, I should know that. But I switched to an HDMI, and it was just so different. I also had speakers, which I should have had headphones probably for the directional sound.
It was all about getting that Turtle Beach in Modern Warfare 2. Once you got that, you were
actually, I think I did have a Turtle Beach at that point in time. I don't anymore. But I started getting into Black Ops 2. I realized really quickly that I was really good at it. And one of my close friends from high school, I was also really good at the game. And so we started playing the competitive scene. I reached Masters pretty quickly in it. And I started calling up Activision every single day. And I bother their poor customer support line because there was a rumor within the first couple of weeks of it coming out that there was going to be a Grandmasters tier because
I forgot about that.
Someone leaked artwork for a Grandmasters tier.
I forgot. Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh, I'm waiting until Grandmasters opens," and then it was just Masters, and everyone sat there forever because it was easy to get to. If you got it once, you were like guaranteed to get it
every
again.
season. It was easy to go back, but
yeah.
Getting to the top Masters was tough. So I played on PlayStation, not Xbox, and
where all the scrubs were.
If you don't know this, the majority of competitive players were on Xbox because the competitive scene had not changed over from Xbox to PlayStation quite yet. Although there was some people that were in the process of doing so, all the competitive tournaments were in Xbox, which leads me to my problem, which was that I had found a clan, or someone had found me in a match, and they really liked my playstyle, and they liked that I had a friend that was pretty decent. And so they started up a clan called KR3W, otherwise known as Crew. He made a website. He got us sponsors. I'm pretty sure Corsair and Logitech were sponsoring us, which is pretty crazy.
Jeez.
I'm not sure how they got two sponsorships in like the same peripheral realm, but
yeah.
The website is not live, and I wish it was because it had all the different sponsors, and it was really, really cool. But it was a guy that lived out in California, and so another guy, he ran the team, but he didn't play on the team. And then it was me, my friend from high school, another guy from California, and a guy from, I think, New Jersey or Rhode Island, very East Coast. And I was in charge of recruitment. I don't know if you ever had to do that for any of your clans.
No, we had a clan, and it was like set up like kind of like the army or whatever. And there was like leaders of like each like brigade, and at one point I got there and I was just like, I don't care about this is too much work. But I went off into competitive scene and just found a team on that. So
well, how ours worked was we didn't have like brigades or anything like that, but we had our main team, which I was on, and then other people in the clans that would be like sub teams or just like lesser competitive teams, or just people that would just want to be fans of the clan. But in order to get the clan, you had to beat me in a 1v1 match. So
nice.
They would pull me out of my scrims or games when they wanted me to like try out somebody, and I would have to 1v1 them. And basically, it was less of the fact of whether they could beat me or not, and more so of a fact if I liked them. Because if I thought they were a dick, I just would kick their ass. Or sorry, I would beat them. And then if
Demonetized.
yeah, I gotta watch my language. But if they were pretty nice, I just let them win. Or there was, I think, twice or three times where I just lost because it was like a 50-50 and they were pretty decent. But the thing I remember the most from it was there was two Optic guys that played on PlayStation back then, which was really a surprise. But it was Optic Runner and I forget the other name. But we played against them in the match play almost every single match. It was either they were on our team or we were on the opposite team because sometimes we'd play the duos or solos or whatever, right? And when it came down to it, the guy who owned the organization wanted to compete in MLG Columbus, same tournament that you would have gone to just earlier year. And
I attended. I was probably there. I went to them. I never played until Advanced Warfare.
And I backed out because I had found another game. I quit my competitive Call of Duty where I was one of the best players. I was ranked number 2 on PlayStation because I didn't want to switch to Xbox and learn all the controls. They moved. They actually came to Columbus. They rented out a house and were learning how to play on Xbox to the PlayStation to try to compete. And that was just not something that I wanted to commit time to or could during high school. So I switched to play StarCraft because I thought that I could be StarCraft. And the StarCraft competitive scene was a lot bigger at that point in time.
Yeah. Did you ever attend an MLG event around that time?
I did.
Did you ever see the StarCraft?
I did not. I don't know how I didn't see one.
How would you not see the StarCraft? It was literally so like MLG Columbus, whatever year this was, like 2014, not 2014, like 20 something, 2012 or something like that. There was in the middle of the thing, there was StarCraft, and StarCraft had like two like whole sections of just like seating. Call of Duty was on like the right side, it had like its little tiny section, and then I think League of Legends might have even been on the left side, or like the fighting game community. I think it was later the fighting.
Any of them.
There was League of Legends at MLG events for a little bit, like really early on, like season 1, season 2. No one like really cared about that.
Right.
StarCraft was massive. They had, and then their open bracket was like 180 people.
Oh, I believe
it was nuts. It was so you had no idea what was going on because I didn't care about it at the time, and like everyone would just start freaking out about something, and you were just like, "What is happening?" I mean, and when you're like sitting there in your Call of Duty section,
StarCraft was a pretty cool and intense game to watch. I remember Husky StarCraft; he had some pretty cool videos. But I tried getting into that. I actually sucked at it. I don't think I ever got past gold in StarCraft, and so for those that's like below average.
I think gold was like average. If you got to plat, you were okay.
Yeah, I was horrendous.
And then it was like diamond, and then there's
so
the
bad.
masters, and it's
but I got sucked into a mini game in StarCraft called Legacy Risk, which is like Risk, except for you actually have to micro the little figures around, and they have different chokeholds. It's basically like a chokehold game, and those who don't know what a choke is, it's a small piece of land that you have to like cross through essentially. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got really good at that. I had multiple accounts because people would team up on me in that game if they knew that I was in the lobby. And that brings me to League of Legends. So from StarCraft, I went and had friends that were playing League, and they wanted me to play. I started playing League in Season 2. In a custom game, they beat the crap out of me. I said I hated this game, don't want to play again. Uninstalled it to Season 3 when my real-life friends started playing it, and they got me into it again. So I reopened my account. Had to find like the login credentials and everything, and I sucked. It was Bronze 5, which was the lowest bottom of the barrel that you could be. Eventually, I started playing in 5v5s when they used to have that with Mr. Cheap Beast over here. We had a team.
That was way down the road. This is when we were actually like addicted to it.
Yes, and we were pretty decent. We were never, stellar, but we got to, I think, platinum in 5v5s.
We were both plat at that time.
And that was decent.
Plat 5v5s was really good because it was really hard to get past that.
Right.
We were all platinum on our own, though.
Right. We were almost a diamond in 5v5s.
Yeah.
Maybe not that close, but we were close. And then from there, when I was at OSU, I started playing in an amateur league. I peaked at I think 3,000th overall. So I was it was my Masters promos. For those that don't know what Masters is, it's like top 3,000-ish players. It varies from year to year. And then I played on Ohio State's amateur team, and I did sub in for their actual team from time to time. And now they have a whole arena, which I wish I could have used, but they wouldn't.
Dude, same.
They wouldn't let me on the team because it was my last semester, and they didn't want to invest in a player that was going to be graduating that semester.
Well, there was a whole esports like group at Ohio State. I went to the thing, and they were just like all about Smash. And I tried to talk to one dude about Call of Duty when like the new Call of Duty came out and stuff, and it never really went anywhere. Like, and then now there's like a Call of Duty league for college, and I'm like, well, I can't play in that anymore. Someone tried to ask me if I could play on the Ohio State team, and I was like, no, I'm not. I can't anymore.
Too old.
Yeah, sorry, graduated. I don't feel like getting a master's
The
for
life of
Call
a
of Duty.
mid-20s man.
Yeah, basically.
Too old to be good at games, but too young to not play.
Yep. Can't go pro anymore. You'd have to really like peak right now and go crazy.
Well,
So
I've blabbed on about my competitive experience long enough, but if anybody
Me too.
ever wants to learn more about either one of ours,
I could
We could
talk for
talk
another
for
whole hour for this.
ages.
I love Call of Duty. Like, I love competitive stuff. That was all I ever did for. I still like watch all like a ton of competitive stuff. So
Right, last thing before we switch. Favorite Black Ops 2 map?
Black Ops 2 map.
I don't care if you don't know the name, but just like describe it.
Probably Raid was pretty good. I think Standoff is probably my favorite.
Was Standoff like the urban one?
No, Standoff had Grandma's house in the middle of it. I don't know if you know the call outs. No, Grandma's house was the one that there was like a tank here. There was a house that looked this way and another house that looked this way, and the tank was like in the middle.
Was that the one with the bridge?
No. It was like a flat map.
Okay. I'm trying to think
It was
which
pretty.
one that was.
There was like a lot of houses in there. There's Grandma's house. There's like the middle house, and then there was like a back like it had like a shop and like a one just walkway up top. It's a hard point map.
Was it the
destroy
one with the
map.
fountain in the middle?
The fountain was like on the back, like left or something. It was one of the search and destroy things, kind of.
Okay, so the one I've seen of with Grandma's house was that there was the fountain as the middle part of the map. On the right hand side, there was like the fence, and then you passed the fence, and there was a house on the right. Then on like the left side of the map, on like the top, was like a parking lot that you could spawn camp in.
Not that one. No, definitely. Grandma's house has been a call out for a lot of places.
Okay.
I don't know how to just describe maps if you don't know.
My favorite map was the mall map because the mall, the radio music that played in the mall was like the Skrillex.
Are you the not terminal? I know what you're talking
It was
about.
like the really fancy
Express?
like sci-fi mall.
Express.
I don't remember the map names anymore because it's just been so long.
What did it have a train go through it?
I don't believe so.
Well, then I don't know that map.
Well, we'll look it up next time, and I will put the name of it in this.
I remember a Skrillex song playing, but I don't remember where that was.
Yeah, I just remember it was a mall, and most of the map was like inside the mall, and there was like the one strip on the outside. I mean, every game in Call of Duty is basically a game of 3 lanes. It's basically League of Legends.
Well, until recently.
Right.
Well, that's another one.
But
It was called Plaza. That was the
was that the name?
Skrillex one.
okay.
Yeah. I looked it up.
That
real
was my
quick.
favorite map.
Standoff or Raid.
Not because of gameplay, purely because of that
Just 'cause of
soundtrack that played.
Nice. All right. Well, let's get into our last thing so we can wrap this up.
Sounds
'Cause
good.
somehow we've already made it to an hour because competitive games took up a lot of time.
And YouTube.
And YouTube. But
It's that time.
like last week, my girlfriend
Shelby's.
has...
Go ahead.
My girlfriend creates a question of the week, and we're going to go with it and debate it for a little bit. This one's going to be pretty short.
All right, so
Just
here's
because
the
it doesn't have as
intro.
much debate.
Shelby's question of the week.
All right, we're going to be paying someone to make us that. But
With a voice that's not, scratchy and high.
Yours.
And bad.
But here's the question of the week. This one's pretty easy. If you can pee on anything and claim it as yours, what would it be?
So basically,
We
you're
don't-
asking if
It's
we're a
yours,
dog.
and you don't... Yes, if you're a dog and you pee on something, it's officially yours. Like, you don't have to pay anything for it. Like, it's just yours now.
So really quickly, are you gonna shout out like your dog's like Instagram now? Is this where the question
She
came
doesn't-
from?
No, she just made that up. But Instagram doesn't do anything anymore.
Oh,
We'll go a future podcast about
Okay.
Toast. You answer it first. What would you claim?
do they have a vault that has the lottery money in it?
I don't think so.
It's probably all digitalized now.
I'm thinking either a house or a car.
But you'd have to go with something that's expensive, yet it would hold
Exactly.
its value over time, and you'd be able to get good use out of it.
Like a car or a house.
But you also wouldn't want to pee on it to the extent that like it gets dirty. So like you'd have to pee on like the
No,
very
like you do
bottom
like
of
a
the tire.
dog does. Yeah, exactly. Like it's just. I mean, you could pee on any part of the car.
Can you
like not
drink
the inside,
so much
but, like,
water that like your pee is basically water at that point?
no, you get one thing. Oh well, I don't
that way it
care.
doesn't.
You
I don't
can.
want to make things dirty.
Well, you're peeing on the outside of it, like a peeing on the outside of a car. It's just like rain hit it, and you just wash it off.
So
what's yours?
I'm basically having a rainfall from the sky, is what you're saying. I don't have to pee on it. The rain from the sky can.
Oh my goodness! I just need you to answer the question.
I don't know.
Okay, well I'm gonna go with a Lamborghini Aventador. I was thinking a house, but house has too many other costs involved in it. I just want a Lamborghini.
Well, I guess it's a claim. It's not necessarily that it is yours.
Okay,
It's your you have a claim
It's yours.
towards.
It's
Okay.
yours. We're going with it's yours.
Well, then I would definitely go with a nice house.
See, the reason I'm thinking that not a house is because there's a lot of other stuff that you have to pay to make the house nice. Like you can obviously
What
like
if the
claim
house
it
is
and
furnished?
then theirs. Then it's yours. It's still furnished, but like
Well, that's a good thing. Then you don't
you're
have to
gonna
worry
have to
about
pay
it.
other things. That's true. Well, I was thinking a house, but I feel like I would want an Aventador. I feel like that'd be easier to.
Does it come with like
pee
any
on and
credit
claim.
cards that might be in the house too?
Nope. You get just the building.
I guess probably a house.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Can you
I feel
pee
like
on
this.
something that's metaphorical?
No.
Like, can our friendship be claimed?
Nope.
Okay.
You can't pee on happiness either. So
Because
You're out of
happiness
luck
would have been
there.
a good one.
yeah, you're
It
out
could
of
have been
luck
a
there.
philosophical question.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not. It's a material question.
So Lambo and a
Lambo,
house.
Aventador. Yes.
Pretty solid.
Those are some easy guesses. I feel like this was an easy one. We'll get a harder one next time.
Sounds good to me.
But that's it for this podcast. Episode 2. We wrapped it up pretty nice, I thought. It was a pretty good one. We got plans for the next podcast. We're just going to keep talking about our life as some mid-20-year-olds because we're in our mid-20s, not middle-aged like
Middle-aged
we said last podcast.
20-year-olds.
Yes, middle-aged 20-year-old, only living to 50.
Old age and mentality. Young
Yep.
at heart.
But
I don't know
like
if that's
every
true.
episode, links will be in the description for our channels, so check those out. Make sure you subscribe, like this, and if you're listening on somewhere else, if we figure out that, follow us on there too, and then come over to YouTube and follow us on there too. So thank you guys for watching. You can do the rest of the intro.
Take care, everybody.
Outro.
See you later. Bye.